Alright, hello everyone. I'm going to do another reading, and this is about Sophia, her introduction that I'm providing to you. Sophia is a prisoner in one of the twin towers near the palace. She walks outside on the balcony to remind herself what it might feel like to be free. A quarter of the moon is visible this night as the stars proudly show off its light. The darkness engulfs her soul and reminds her that she is bound and chained in this world to suffer the pain of immortality. As soon as reality soaks inside her mind, anxiety creeps up as she paces faster and faster, walking back and forth appearing as a disaster. She wears her mind out and decides to go back inside. Sophia finds the darkest corner and sits alone in her dark dungeon. She tries to fight the fright. She momentarily feels divided between her heart and mind. She doesn't know how to accept reality when chaos is all that she sees. Then she lets the darkness wrap and cover her body like a blanket. After a little bit of mixing dark and light in her head, she lays down on her bed, remembering a past that has scared and scarred her for life. She keeps hitting herself on the head harder and harder. She screams her raging agony. I didn't want this immortality. I don't want to live forever like this. All of a sudden, Sophia feels a pain in the lower portion of her spine that slowly spreads throughout her body. She chokes and coughs. Sophia starts to cry as if she feels like she can empty out all her feelings, but the abyss is too deep. She has done this every day and she still does not find any relief. She starts to replay memories of her former love to try and distract her thoughts. She closes her eyes to picture and remember every erotic touch and kiss that touched the depths of her soul. The pain seems to temporarily go away as warm feelings of love begin to spread throughout her body. I'm trying to hold on to you. I don't want to let you go. I want to remember the past as if it was forever. Come back. Take away my pain and memories of this horrible nightmare so that I can wake up to you every day. Why did you leave me here alone in a world so dark and cold? Sophia becomes frightened when she tries to find a moment of peace because that is when the terror strikes her mind. She knows that she is bound to live in sadness forever. She breathes in and out, meditating on love and peace, trying to fight the negative forces and thoughts that try to penetrate her mind. She tries to follow her lover's advice and stay in the now. She remembers nothing but death. There has been too much death, and some things become just too hard to fight until the horror breaks inside. She begins to choke and cough as the pain seeps inside her brain. The migraine keeps pounding her head until she sees a flash of a recent memory of an Anunnaki soldier hitting her, and continuing to beat her. They struck her down to the ground as if she was nothing but a worthless piece of life. Sophia screams out in agony before a different memory surfaces of another Anunnaki hitting her and throwing her down to the ground. Sophia, once again, screams her horror out loud, and she tries to block the next visualization of that sequence. Get out of my head! Block! Block! I don't want to see any more of this. She screams out loud and no one is there to hear her sounds. She starts hyperventilating, gasping for air. Her body starts heating up and she pukes all over the floor. She stares at the liquid she just threw up and begins to cry, wondering if it will ever stop. She falls to the ground, unable to accept her fate, and continues to cry for another 2 hours before she passes out on her dark dungeon floor. Her senses become oblivious to any perception. Then the cold overtakes her naked body and she retracts inward and grabs her knees to stay warm. She becomes so numb that the pain goes away. As soon as the dawn of light touches her skin, she feels the cold briefly again until the warmness of the light wakes her up and gives her sight. She tries to forget everything that happened last night. She briefly remembers the pain. She feels like she was fighting to keep her soul in her body and not to be ripped away. She finally let the warmth overtake her body as she wakes up and peers out the balcony. Why have I been abandoned to this destiny? The world is so cold and I want to die to erase my mind. One last time, she decides to scream out loud with all her might, but her echo reminds her that no one cares, that she wastes away in a world, in a heartless world where she has no place.